Good morning guys, we're back at it again with another video. We finally got it. We got the garage, it's here. We can start building. So this has definitely been a long time coming. I think I wanted to start building this like last winter, and now we're summertime. So we're a little bit behind schedule, but now we can fully get started with it and get it done. So I'm working with Versatube on this project. I remember when I was first starting to look for steel garages on Google, and I just typed in DIY steel garage, and Versatube was one of the top hits that came up. And one thing that I really liked about their website, or basically how you can order garages from them, is that you can get it completely custom in terms of exactly where you want the doors, colors, the sizing. Everything is very custom, and then they flat pack it on a bunch of skids like this and ship it out. So when we first got the garage just about a week ago, I remember going through like all the blueprints and the structural diagrams for it, and just an immense feeling of feeling overwhelmed. And I remember that was the same feeling when I first started building the tiny house. And because when I started building the tiny house, like I had really no idea how to do framing or anything like that, but I was able to get it done. And that's one of those things where it's like when you have a monstrous project like this, so it's an over 4,000 square foot garage, the interior height is going to be 16 feet, it's 85 feet long, 55 feet wide if you include the lean on as well. And there's 60 pages here that I printed off that Versatube provides. So it's got obviously like a huge material list, and then also structurally how everything goes together as well. So everything seems to be pretty well pre-cut. So there shouldn't be a lot of like metal cutting or anything like that. I should be able to just kind of like screw everything together and get it going. So for smaller garages that are not nearly as big and not nearly as tall, you could probably get away with using a number of step ladders to put it together. For this project though, since it is so big and so much of the work is going to be done at least 14, 15, 16 feet up in the air, having a scissor lift like this is going to be really useful. This reminds me of back when I used to be an electrician, because whenever we'd go and work in different industrial applications, we'd always have a scissor lift because it just makes the job a whole lot easier. And for all the safety sallies out there, I do have a harness and I do have a lanyard to clip onto this, and I even have hard hats as well. That's how much we're going to be focusing on safety on this project. The way that I look at safety on a project like this, especially because I'm going to be working so high up in the air for so much of it, is that spending $300 on some safety gear sounds like, whoa, that's a lot of money on some safety gear. But then you compare it to going to the hospital, lost time, say if I fall off a ladder and I get injured or anything like that, or I fall off the lift, God forbid. But that would be really devastating. And so that would cost a lot more money, obviously in pain, anguish, time lost, and the hospital bill much more than a few $100s. So definitely safety is going to be of the utmost priority, especially when we're putting solar panels on the roof. We're going to have to be very careful with how we actually operate up there, and making sure that we get a really good job done and everybody walks home without any bumps or bruises. So it's really important with a job like this that I really learned on the tiny house is to start with the very first step and to not think too much about what's going to be going on in the future, because I could be thinking, all right, how am I going to get the roof panels up? How am I going to do the sheeting? What about a garage door? I haven't even ordered those yet. So I could start thinking about all these little things, which at this point, they don't really make a big difference, right? And obviously, as I'm going through the construction process, those are things that I'm going to have to think about. But at this point here, all I know what I have to do is I want to start with the base rails. So we're going to start with getting the base rails in place and drilling them into the foundation, getting them secured to the slab, and then just keep moving on from that point right there. All right, guys, that's enough chit chat. Let's get started. All right guys, so we have finished laying out basically this side of the garage. We're going to start with the front side here where all the doors are, and we're going to measure off 1.5 inches off this lip right here, and we're going to mark a chalk line all the way from end to end so that our base rails here, they're gonna match up right with that line. And why that's important is because on this side of the garage, on this side and also on the other long side, is that there's a set of purlins that are 1.5 inches so that we have some vertical or some horizontal pieces so that we can attach the sheet metal to. And basically the sheet metal will end up at the bottom of this lip here. So it's called the sheeting ledge, so that no water can penetrate through the bottom of the sheet metal and then travel up and then into the garage. So it just creates an extra barrier for water to get into it. So we've got trusty Brian here. I think you have to come in a bit more. I don't know if I'm in there. So we've got Mr. Brian here. He's here to help out. Very short notice. Yeah. I messaged him like 20 minutes ago. But we're gonna get this done and we're gonna get this side of the garage up. I had no idea this chalk line was so freaking long. That's pretty good. All right guys, we almost got this row of the base rails done. We're running into a bit of an issue with a few pieces down there that Versatube is having a look at, but look at how big these doors are. 14 feet. And what's crazy that Brian and I discovered is that even just by using the wedges in the ground, I thought that we were gonna have to brace these up with some 2x4s or something, but they're strong enough just to stand up on their own there, which is great. So these two doors right here, they're gonna be 11 feet tall instead of 14 feet tall down there. Let me show you what we're encountering with these pieces down here. So this piece here is the same as that one there. So it's the double wall garage frame. I think it's called a swedge that goes into this extension piece. And there is another extension piece that goes across here. And then this swedge, how does it mate with this one here? So what I think I might have to do is cut this right here and then fit them together. But I'm not gonna do that until either Versatube tells me to, or maybe they need to send me a different piece or something like that here, but they're having their draft team look at it. And before we're gonna snap a chalk line at this 45-foot mark going all the way down to the other end, is that we measured across the diagonals. So we found that we're at 96.5 going across one diagonal, and then it was like 96 5/8. So we're within 1/8 of an inch across our diagonals. And that is definitely within homestead parameters, just ensuring that the entire building is gonna be nice and square. That also means that the contractor that did the slab did a very good job. All right, one tool tip for you guys is that we had a hammer drill like this when I was an electrician, and for drilling through concrete like this, especially since we're using a 1/2 inch bit, and this is a 12-inch bit, and we're only really going down about 9 or 10 inches, but for doing this type of concrete work and drilling down into it, this type of hammer drill, it is mucho dinero, but it will pay for itself over time just for lack of a better word, bullshit that you're gonna have to go through with other hammer drills and stuff. These Bosch ones are fantastic. So in these base rails here, there's already 5/8 inch holes, which fits our 1/2 inch concrete wedge very nicely. So essentially all we do is we pound this all the way down till there's a few threads left there before we get it all the way down to the bottom. And then we just tighten it up. And then that's all we're doing with it. Super simple, real nice. Daddy, it's a hot one today. Holy moly. It's at least 100 today, probably closer to 103, 104. It's the hottest time of the year right now for us, and that is when we're building this garage. Anyways, we got this base rail finished for the other side of the garage. So this is all 2x4 steel, and then on this side here, for the lean on, we're gonna put another set of base rails down, and that's 2x3 steel. Anyways, guys, last call. This upcoming Sunday and Monday, I'm gonna be in Hannibal, Missouri for the Homesteading Life Conference. You can still get tickets right up until the date, even if you want to show up and buy tickets, but just buy them beforehand makes it a little bit easier for everybody. And that's gonna be a cool event. I'll be gone for 5 days, but I think I've got a few other videos that I can post in the meantime. I know I haven't posted a video in a couple weeks, but I've been working on a lot of other stuff, business type stuff that I've had to get finished. So, and now we can get really into the heart of the construction of this and get it finished. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you on the next video. Talk to you soon. Peace.